This is your world.
This is your world.
This is your world. This is your news.
This is your news.
This is your news. This is.
This is.
This is
Global Examiner.
Global Examiner.
Global Examiner.
Global Examiner.
This is Global Examiner, and this is your world. Today's top stories. Airline says no more monkey business. Luxury cruises ditching Uncle Sam? What do they have to hide? Hot burglar alert. Have you been burgled by him? Should condoms be available at the Beijing Olympics? What about hugs? We have a live report from Global Examiner. This is your world, and I'm its hosts, Ron Ecstasy, joined by my correspondents Devin Welsh and John Biedron. Let's get right to the news. Airline says it will stop monkey shipments after Pennsylvania crash. Kenya Airways will not renew its contract with the shipper when it expires this month, airline CEO Alan Kilavuka said. The airline flew the animals from Mauritius, an island nation in the Indian Ocean, to New York. On January 21st, a truck towing a trailer with 100 monkeys collided with a dump truck on a Pennsylvania highway. Several of the monkeys escaped. Authorities said later that 3 were shot and killed, and they accounted for the rest. A CDC spokeswoman declined to give the location of the facility or say what the lab intended to do with the monkeys.
What?
They have been in high demand since the beginning of the pandemic for testing vaccines. Now, everybody, I'm joined here with resident monkey expert, Devin Welsh. Devin, what can you tell us about this story?
Well, first, I'd like to say thank you for having me, and also that we should refer to them as Cercopathicidae, which is the Latin, the technical term for these monkeys. But we can, of course, use the layman's term monkeys going forward, but I just wanted to kind of clear the air on that one.
Cercopathicidae?
That's right, Cercopathicidae, that's right. Okay. These creatures are very beautiful. They have a very wonderful history to them. And
now, Devin, as the resident monkey expert, or I guess tailed primate expert, whatever you prefer to call them, now how contagious and how given over to disease are there Cercopathicidae compared to other monkeys?
Well, John, that's a very interesting question that it would actually take so long to answer that question that I can't go into it here on this.
Well, good. Thank you. Thank you
Would
for
you say
not
that they're
going
more
into
full
that.
of viruses generally or less full than the
I would say more full, much more.
Okay.
Now, this seems to kind of focus its attention to a monkey supply chain issue. It seems as though there are and is a need for vaccine testing with these primates, Cercopathicidae. But is this kind of alluding to some sort of larger supply chain issue? Do these monkeys maybe not want to work? Is it because of the stimulus checks that they don't want to work?
These monkeys have been receiving, all kinds of government handouts, and that has led to a serious supply chain issue. As well as the monkey owners, they've been living it up, and so it's caused them to just kick back, put their feet up, watch some TV, instead of driving these monkeys where they need to be according to their contracts. And so we're looking at a situation where one car crash involving 100 lost monkeys can throw many industries into complete disorder.
Now, first off, I just want to jump in here. Ron, again, thank you so much for having me on the Global Examiner. Always a privilege. Now, you kind of put the horse before the cart when you introduced the segment. You said that these monkeys were being used to test vaccinations. But in the story, the CDC spokeswoman declined to give the location or say what the lab intended to do with the monkeys.
So are we assuming that they were used for vaccinations?
Or are we to assume that there is a perhaps secretive, pernicious use for these monkeys that they are uncomfortable sharing with the American people.
Well, yeah, I recently spoke with CDC spokeswoman who also declined to give the location, but then she asked me if I have gotten a vaccine and then stated that she was testing vaccines on primates and then said she couldn't tell me what they were going to do with the primates. Kind of a double speak situation. And
Right.
I asked if it was in fact vaccine. She declined to comment, even though she asked me about my vaccine and then said that she was testing them on monkeys. She then declined to say again that she was not testing them.
Now, Ron, you yourself are also what would be considered a primate.
Yes, I am a high primate.
Are you one of the primates?
Did this CDC person happen to tag you on your ear?
No, that is a piercing that I recently got at Claire's in the mall just last Tuesday. Has nothing to do with me speaking with the CDC spokeswoman who declined to give the location of the facility and what they intended to do at that lab, even though she told me that they tested vaccines.
Gentlemen, I'm going to break in here and just say, as the monkey expert, as the Cercopathicidae expert, I'm going to suggest that potentially, in addition to testing vaccines on these monkeys, they're also testing wonder drugs that lead to states of euphoria and pleasure that we have never experienced before. And so, with that in mind, we should maybe consider these monkeys to be very, very lucky indeed to be getting these unknown wonder drugs, even if it is just for testing.
Now, considering that they were on this plane, Air Kenya, or Kenya Airways, I should say, because I recently spoke with their CEO, Alan Kilavuka. Now, they're not going to be allowed to be flying into the United States anymore. And this is not an immigration issue. This is purely because of their primate status. Now, I have an idea. Now, please, Devin, let me know if this would work. Should monkeys just change their names to primates just to get on the plane and just say, I'm not a monkey, I'm a primate?
Right. To kind of confuse the issue, to pose the question to the border guard, to say, I am a primate. I identify as a primate, not as a monkey, and thus I essentially am equivalent to a human being.
Right.
I think it would lead to a series of very serious legal questions that we don't have the time to answer in depth here.
Well, it would certainly lead to a series of appeals to higher and higher court authorities. We would have to see it at a state level, go up to the Supreme Court, and in fact, it might even have to go up to a circus court.
Oh, there is actually a circus court, a primate court that has a higher authority than the Supreme Court that we do not talk about very often because cases very rarely go to that level. But
yeah, and do not get this confused with a kangaroo court. This has nothing to do with a kangaroo court. That's a lower level, an appellate court that you will find many things on their docket, many animal things on their docket, but this is a circus court.
Yeah, those are marsupials, totally different issue. Yes. That is like separated as far as church and state goes.
Now I just want to before we wrap up with this story, I would like to just zoom in on the fact that these monkeys, Cercopathicidae, were found in Pennsylvania. Now, if you would ask me, what is Pennsylvania known for? I would say nothing. But just looked at a map and I found out that Hershey Chocolate is headquartered there. John, do you think these monkeys were looking to maybe pilfer sweet chocolates from the Hershey factory in PA?
Well, now one thing I do know, or that is an unconfirmed rumor, but that has been mentioned to me by various sources on this issue, is that these monkeys were trained in the lab to respond to sweet chocolates. The scientists would use these chocolates to control the monkey's behavior and may or may not have also accelerated a superintelligence in these monkeys as a side effect of some other testing. So it is very possible that these monkeys knew exactly where the headquartered of the sweet chocolate that they loved so much was, and had, in a way, controlled the situation to crash the monkey delivery truck on its own in order to escape.
Now that is just absolutely fascinating. The things
so
that
this
are
is an
happening
unconfirmed
in this
source now, but yes, this is one of the things that many people are starting to talk about.
Yeah,
As
and John's
the
always
expert-
protecting his sources. Let's Yes.
As the expert
Please,
here,
Devin,
I just
go
want to
ahead.
break in with an alternate interpretation based on a documentary film that I recently saw that I think pertains to and is about the Hershey factory in question in Pennsylvania, which is
Okay.
a film called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It
Okay.
goes into a whole. It's a very kind of it shows what's really going on in these chocolate factories. And you can see that there are a number of employees that do not enter the factory, never seen entering, never seen exiting, always hard at work. They're called Oompa Loompas.
Okay.
But these
Is
Oompa
that a-
Loompas...
Is that
a
two
regional
O's?
thing?
Is that
Yeah.
two O's? I'm writing this down.
Yeah, and so there's actually the Oompa Loompas are no exception to the wave of labor strikes and labor shortages that have been occurring across America. And I think that these monkeys could be under the radar, being brought in as strike breakers.
to work
Scabs,
for
yes.
peanuts.
Yeah.
That's right, and for the
Yes.
sweet, sweet chocolate that they love so much.
Right. Yeah, that is very interesting because it reminds me I've also been doing a bit of research, watching documentaries about.
Now, are these original research, these documentaries you two are watching?
Yeah,
that-
so-
as scientists and researchers that you're making yourself, or are these?
These
No,
are
are you
I'm not
renting these
making them.
DVDs?
Yeah,
are
I'm renting
academic
these
sources.
DVDs. The one that I
Okay.
it's called Dunstan Checks In, and it's about a Cercopathicidae that it checks into a hotel, and it's
Does
in
it
it's
does
in
it do any
Hershey.
work while it's in the hotel?
It's in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Yeah, it does some work. I didn't get to finish it.
So we don't know if Dunstan checks out.
No, it checks out that because I did watch part of it, but anyway, let's stick to the we listen. The boss is gonna. We just have to do this. Finish the story. Okay. Devin, thank you so much for your expert Cercopathicidae supply chain issue that you mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the documentaries that you watch. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Kenya Airways has been a proud sponsor, but we feel bad for them losing that contract. And John, thank you very much as well. Let's move along.
Okay.
All right, we have a news story here. A Miami-bound luxury cruise has diverted to the Bahamas to avoid arrest by the feds.
Uh-oh.
A luxury cruise ship carrying hundreds of passengers and bound for Miami diverted to the Bahamas on Saturday in order to avoid arrest, tied to unpaid fuel bills totaling more than $1.2 million.
Okay, so I think we know what's going on here with the Biden administration. Gas prices are out of control. And,
That's right.
Yes, that is
So-
big.
Can we blame these luxury cruise ships for running away on these bills when the bills, they're not fair in the first place? They're
Well-
overpriced.
And Devin, may I just sort of come in here and just say, it is seeming that as these cruise lines are running in the Biden America and in the Biden open seas, one must assume that some of these cruises are being run by the president himself. He's at the helm.
Okay.
And he's the one burning these precious fuels.
Yeah, we know he loves big boats, and
Yeah.
we
You know,
have
he likes
seen him
driving.
with a captain hat from time to time.
Yeah, and I've seen him wearing the captain hat, his cutoff shorts, down at the docks in Delaware, and he's filling up the tank of gas on the cruise ship sometimes.
Now, is he stopping at a nice round number when he undoes the pump handle, or is he just letting it ride?
He just lets it ride because he says that he doesn't have time, apparently, just to stop it on exact numbers.
Yeah.
But he is superstitious, so it has to be an even number. That's the only kind of thing that he does. But it's also like sometimes he prepays, so it just stops at the thing. But in this instance, didn't prepay at all. He's not paying, is what the news article is telling us here.
Right.
So let me read a little deeper here. It says Crystal Cruises announced on Wednesday that the same day that a lawsuit was filed in federal court that it was suspending its operations through the end of April. The next day, U.S. District Judge Darren Gale Wind issued a warrant to have federal marshals board the ship and take it into custody once it reached Miami. Now, taking the ship into custody is difficult. I don't know if you have ever tried to put handcuffs on a 300-foot long ship, but it
lifts that
difficult.
thing out of the water too. It's heavy even in the water, but once you try to pull it out, it gets a lot heavier.
Now, I will say that there are plenty of places to plant drugs onto the ship to frame it for a more punitive crime.
Absolutely.
Never knew about anything like that. I've never known anything.
Well, there's a lot of rooms on cruise ships. So, there's always plenty of hiding places.
So passengers were told that they needed to disembark and make their own way home. And then a second ship from the embattled Crystal Cruise Lines has cut its trip short and offloaded passengers in the Bahamas, as this company is facing legal disputes over these millions of dollars of fuel bills.
Now, so there's two cruise ships in the Bahamas, one that was supposed to disembark in Miami, and all of the passengers who were on it, with the understanding that they had to hitchhike their way home from Miami.
Yes.
And then now they're in the Bahamas.
This reminds me of a documentary that I saw recently called Pirates of the Caribbean, that sort of a historical piece about the pirate times and, how the Bahamas and this whole area of the world was used, for people to get away with doing all kinds of crazy crimes. And we're seeing it again today. I think, it maybe shows that we're reverting back to an earlier period in history.
Yeah. That is fascinating. I've never seen that documentary. I adding it to my list next to Oompa Loompa, and this is a cause for concern. And I got to say that if I were a cruise ship patron, I don't know if there's ever been a worse cruise to be on.
Certainly not.
Than this Crystal Cruise Line that is
absolutely.
getting, pulled over by the cops. The police department is here
now
to pull over the boat.
It seems that there's a bit of a sort of a refugee immigration, people sneaking into the Bahamas issue here with all of these people unloaded. Now, we don't have a register in front of us, but given the supply chain issues with the current monkey shines going on,
yes,
is it possible that the cruise ships are being used to reroute expensive cyclothipides to sort of skirt tariffs and import fees? You know what?
That is an extremely salient point, and I think you could be correct. This is just more incredible information that I never really thought of. A new wrinkle in my brain, you could say. I believe it, John. I believe it. Now, I don't know if you're reporting that with sources.
Well, in order to protect my sources, I can't let you know whether or not that people have been saying this.
I forgot
but I will
about
say
that.
I have heard it.
Yeah.
So the question that we should be approaching here is, why do people go on cruises in the first place? And should they continue doing so?
Listen, I've never been on a cruise.
I've never been on a cruise either. I have no idea what they're like. I don't know anything about them, really.
John?
I definitely have not been on a cruise from the years 2017 to 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But certainly not, especially the year 2020.
No.
Yeah, why would anybody want to go on it? That's another great question. I would say either to raise money for something or...
promote something. But I mean, I think it's a bad idea. I mean, I think
it's a terrible idea.
Anyone that wants to get into that, I think would be making a big, big mistake. And this story, this cruise chaos is more proof of the correctness of that opinion. But the Bahamas are being overrun by cruise-going Americans. I'm sure it's an issue internally in the Bahamas, but we'll have to dig into some sources to go deeper on that.
That is true. We have brand new shovels that we will be digging deeper into these kinds of stories once we arrive in the Bahamas, which we are looking forward to being there and finding out some more. I got my swim trunks on already. Now, the Crystal Serenity was originally scheduled to take about 200 passengers on a 3.5-month expedition. That does not sound good. But 2 days after leaving Miami, they announced they would be suspending their operations, as we said, through April, and canceled those port calls since then. So that is something that we are obviously going to be taking a look at. We will be staying buoyant with our cruise ship friends and families and business acquaintance that may be out there, and we will be following any lawsuit that has to deal with cruise ships
and their owners.
With
and
the
their
Crystal
owners.
Cruises, I'm sure lawsuits are going to be coming their way, and I will be eating my popcorn because that will just be delicious. We will be looking for Serenity, the ship, Crystal Serenity. We will be inquiring as to its whereabouts.
Yeah. I went to a kindergarten with somebody named Crystal Serenity, but it's just okay. So let's move along to the next story we have here. We got a hot burglar on the run. Hot burglar wanted by cops drives women crazy on social media. Now, these women, only women have been driven crazy by this, and let me tell you, he did not have a driver's license. So Jonathan Cahill might be able to ditch his life of crime for one of modeling, fashion, and money. At least that's what millions of women eyeing his wanted poster seem to think.
Millions
of women.
Millions. They've been
but
counting.
not a single man was tempted by this character whatsoever.
No.
We all retained our dignity.
Yes. So the West Yorkshire Police Department in the UK put out a wanted bulletin Thursday saying, hey, can you help us locate Jonathan Cahill, who has been recalled to prison? He is 37 years old and believed to be residing in the Wakefield area. Please share our appeal below and contact us if you can help our officers locate him. Guess what they did? They shared that appeal.
And I would just like to say that this is just to get into the mix here. This is just a shocking development that the protests over the last few years and all of the calls to defund the police have reached even into the United Kingdom, where police officers are forced to put up posters asking for citizens to volunteer to investigate crimes in their area.
Yes,
absolutely.
And people did. They shared that appeal, and Jonathan Cahill's mug. That's his mugshot, hit social media like wildfire, along with a flood of pretty hilarious social media comments, mostly from Cahill's new female fans. So, you got to look this guy up. His name's Jonathan Cahill, and boy, is he attractive. If you're a woman.
If you're a woman.
If you're a man, you have no opinion whatsoever. But
none.
And if you're a man, you're disgusted because this is a criminal.
Yeah,
absolutely. It doesn't matter what he looks like. I don't see handsomeness. I just see criminality.
No,
exactly.
Now, listen, I've been reading through. I've been really paying attention to this extremely closely.
Me too.
And I don't think he's attractive or anything.
No. But I've been studying the mugshot.
Yeah. And I've been looking at some of the comments left on the West Yorkshire Police Department in the UK's appeal. Now, listen, can I share some of my faves?
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, please.
Okay. Might leave my doors unlocked and bedroom door open, you bad, bad man. Now, let me remind you, this is a criminal.
This is terrible.
This is I don't know what kind of a person would write that, but it's inappropriate.
A woman wrote it.
Clearly.
And
the kind of person it is. It would have to be.
So another comment here. Bloody hell. He'll be smashing a few more back doors in.
Yes, he will, because he's
a criminal.
serial criminal.
Yeah, absolutely. Back door
That's
is, of
what they
course,
do.
referring to the back door of a home and nothing to do with the human body
Off an
whatsoever.
unsecured door. No, absolutely not.
Yeah. The keys are under the pot, Jonathan.
Clearly
Now,
an accomplice.
Pot's illegal in
This is
the
and this
UK.
is one of Cahill's many accomplices.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a person who needs to be immediately investigated for any wrongdoing.
Yeah.
Now, you might be asking, for what was he recalled to prison? And we don't know, actually.
We
It's
have
not in the
no
article.
idea. We don't care, frankly. All we need to know is that the police have deemed him a criminal, and we are following their instructions to the letter.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Another comment. Somebody said, "Does he need a place to hide?" Now that's illegal too.
You cannot be offering a shelter.
Another of the
No.
accomplices. Officer, they're right over here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Constable.
arrest them.
exactly. Now, I have to review the first comment that I decided was inexcusable and despicable. Might leave my doors unlocked and bedroom door open, you bad man. Now, I was a bit rash in my judgment here, but this may be someone who's trying to help the police by telling
Right,
Jonathan
okay.
Cahill to enter their home in an attempt to ensnare them in a kind of entrapment plot.
Right.
It's
In
a
which
sting
case,
operation.
Thank you so much for your efforts. However, again, please don't endanger yourself. Please just report any suspicious activity you see, or if you know any about his whereabouts. Don't involve yourself.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're
You don't
listening
know
to
what
this,
this man is capable of. Think about it. I mean, I can't stop thinking about being at home. Your doors are locked. It's the middle of the night. Okay, you're
Yeah.
wearing just a nightshirt, nothing underneath because it's been pretty hot. Okay,
Yeah.
so you just got this long flowing sort of gown on. Okay, and you're home alone and you're a little nervous.
Okay.
and you hear this sound outside, and first you
What
don't
is
know if
it?
it's the wind. It sounds like a tapping. You go downstairs to investigate, and all of a sudden your back door bursts open, and this hulking, brawly, symmetrically faced, clean cut, rough
Beautiful.
his
figure
abs
standing in the
are.
doorway.
You can see
glistening.
the abs through the t-shirt.
He's so strong.
He's sweating because he's nervous because he's committing an illegal crime.
He's so cool too.
Yeah,
And then he starts walking towards you, and there's nowhere to
fumble.
go.
There's nowhere to go. You back up to the wall. I mean, this scenario keeps going through my brain over and over and over again, ever since this story broke. So
It's chilling. Thank you, John.
quite
It's a
chilling.
chilling vision.
Yeah, it's breaking me too. Yeah. So, guys, I just got some actual sad news. I actually got some sad news. West Yorkshire police have broken the hearts of his admirers after he revealing that Jonathan Cahill has been caught.
Oh, that's great news.
Yeah. Spokesman for the force said an appeal was previously circulated in relation to Jonathan Cahill, 37, who was wanted on recall to prison. Again, we don't know if it's a violent crime that he's committed, or perhaps he tried paying for a bushel of potatoes with some postage stamps.
We can't confirm that, but
cannot confirm either or.
No. But he has been arrested and is in custody. Now, John, I got a question for you. Have you ever seen a hot criminal?
I just told you that I've been seeing one in my dreams every night.
Yeah, that's true.
But in the real world now, I mean, I have
Okay.
I have to
the
admit
question
that
of whether he's hot from a man's perspective is kind of
Irrelevant.
Schrodinger's cat. It's kind of, you don't know one way or the other.
Yeah, well, I wasn't talking about a guy, obviously.
because men
Yeah,
can't
right.
perceive the hotness of other men.
But if it was
No,
a woman, a hot woman criminal, of course we would.
Oh
we
my
would-
god!
yeah, that's
Are
what
you
I was
kidding me?
asking. I was mainly asking, like, if the, like, you know,
Oh, I see.
like the girl, like a hot girl or
burglar.
something.
Because you said hot burglar, my mind immediately jumped to, 6'1", strapping, bolt brawly,
37,
tight shirt, 37,
resides in the Wakefield
salt and
area.
pepper hair, lots
Yeah.
of muscles, maybe
No, I
one
know.
or two tasteful tattoos,
Right.
And
little
No,
mix
I'm
of
not
danger
talking-
in the air.
No, I'm not
That's
talking
where
about,
my mind went.
I know.
And I have
but-
just a philosophical question:
Okay.
Is a hot criminal really a criminal at all? Is if a criminal is hot enough, do they cease to be a criminal?
yeah, that's
That's a fair point. That's a good question to
that is
ask.
good. I think if it kind of doesn't matter if you're hot, if like
Well, if I look at you and I don't see criminal, then you must not be one. You know, it's
Right.
sort of like pornography. Like I know it when I see it.
Right, of course.
I don't know it. I don't think. Never seen it.
Oh, that's just a turn of phrase.
Oh, cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, I would like to be burgled by a hot burglar, but like ladies only, as I said, mentioned that earlier.
Yeah. Now
All right,
I am getting reports that Jonathan Cahill's cell is being flooded with love letters
Yeah,
from the millions of women who found him so sexually attractive.
yeah.
And
So
in which case, I would like to say that good for them because they know where he is now.
Yep.
And his life will never be the same.
Nope, because he's a criminal. So, women, if you're listening, I encourage you to look up a picture of Jonathan Cahill, the criminal from the United Kingdom, and I encourage you to share it, even though he's caught, just to let your friends know that the criminals are out there, and they should be locked away permanently. All right, that's a beautiful news story out of the United Kingdom. But now we have a special report from the Global Examiner Sports Desk. It's the Global Examiner Olympic Look of the Week.
I didn't know we were doing of the weeks ago.
I mean,
Peter Turquoise
Did you
said,
just, was that instinct?
yeah, well,
I could tell you couldn't help yourself.
Peter
the boss.
said
You
no
said it.
more of the weeks, but anyway.
It just felt so natural.
I know. Oh no. Okay, so we got a headline here coming from China, who is hosting the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing. Condoms are available, but hugs are discouraged at the Beijing Winter Olympics. So, Olympic organizers are keeping up with the tradition of making condoms available to athletes, despite detailed social distancing guidelines intended to curb the spread of COVID-19 within the closed loop in which the games will take place. All Olympic-related units will provide appropriate quantities of condoms for free at the appropriate time to tell people who've checked in to stay inside the loop, organizers told Reuters by email on Tuesday.
So, Ron, I just want to break in. Could we get a fact check on the appropriate quantities of condoms? Because this is a subjective opinion. How many condoms is appropriate for each Olympian?
For each Olympian,
Yeah.
what is appropriate is around 50 to 60 condoms. Now,
Wow. Okay.
but
I was
you're
going to
s-
say one.
no, you're not thinking, John.
These are Olympians, after all. These are not
Yeah.
everyday people that just require one condom. They only need one. These people need
Well, one,
many.
and maybe not even use it. I mean, just to have in your wallet, just in case.
That's right. But again, John, you're not thinking. These are
You're not
these are
thinking,
Olympians.
John.
You're not
John,
thinking at
I
all.
don't see
John.
what their race has to do with how many condoms they use.
John, stop
The
thinking.
Olympian people are not more sexually promiscuous than other races.
John, shut the fuck up. Okay? The Olympics are lasting from February 4th to 20th. February 20th. It's the shortest goddamn month of the year.
They're not even using the whole thing.
And we need to give these people some condoms because 50 to 60, how many days is that? 16 days? What is 60 divided by 15? Come on, John, I'm waiting. What is the answer? Do some mental math.
So they'll need probably a dozen condoms a day. Is that right?
I don't know, Devin. I didn't ask you. I asked John, and he's supposed to give me an answer, and he's just staring at me with his mouth open.
3 3/4 a day.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. So that seems pretty reasonable to me. Does that answer your question, Devin?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Can we take the town a bit, you guys? I mean, I'm sorry. I know this is a hot newsroom, but I'm getting a little I'm nervous here now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Peter is
Well-
listening, John. We need to keep going here.
So journalists who checked into the Guizhou hotel, which is inside the closed loop, found 5 individually wrapped condoms in each room.
This show's so much harder to record now.
They were individually packed in different colored envelopes decorated with an image of a Chinese lantern. Organizers did not immediately see how many condoms they would distribute. See,
They
they
were
don't
being
even
cheeky.
know. They don't know.
They have
They have
no
no
idea.
idea.
Nobody
They're-
knows.
No, they're going to figure it out later. It doesn't.
Well, they were going to evaluate everyone based on their attractiveness and their sort of like, how suave they are.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's the first. A lot of people don't realize this, but in the Olympics, the first event is not, shot put or whatever, because many people have very, antiquated ideas about the Olympics. The first event is the makeout contest,
Yeah.
and whoever wins gets the most condoms.
That's
Cool.
right.
Gold medal for me, probably.
And we will be covering the makeout contest in vivid detail on Global Examiner.
That is right. We will be reporting live, depending on some airline tickets from our new boss, Peter Turquoise.
He said that we had to go. Actually, he said
Yeah,
that there was other stuff he needed us to do there.
Yeah, he said that, and then he said like, just check your email for the airline tickets. I'll get them to
Boarding
you
number. Yeah.
this morning, tomorrow morning. And it's
We
like,
still
that was this
haven't-
morning.
Yeah, we still haven't gotten them,
Still
but
He's probably going to listen to this though. So in the playbook of COVID-19 measures for the game's personnel, athletes are instructed to minimize physical interactions such as hugs, high fives, and handshakes, and to maintain a social distance of at least 2 meters from fellow competitors. But again,
And that
they
would
are
make
giving
it-
them condoms to
Yeah.
kind of encourage these athletes, these athletic fuck machines, to get to start engaging with one another to make super duper athletes. We mentioned this
Yeah.
before. We mentioned it with the Tokyo Olympics. We
The
mentioned
Olympian
it.
Village of the Gods.
Yeah, we mentioned
creating
it
a
with the-
super race.
The,
Now,
the Houston ping pong competition. We
Yeah.
talked about how they need to be fucking too.
but John, how do we resolve the seeming contradiction here? Because they want to maintain a social distance of 2 meters, but they are providing condoms. What does that mean?
I have 2 words for you, Devin. Darwinian evolution. Now,
I
the
understand.
Olympic competitors who have penises at least 2 meters in length will be able to easily curtail these COVID-19 social distance measures, reproducing a super breed of highly skilled athletic competitors with enormous penises who are also evolutionarily more adept at avoiding viruses and viral outbreaks because they have to stay 2 meters away.
That's right.
That sounds crazy, man. I like that. Well, we all remember the last summer's Tokyo games. Organizers said that they plan to give away 150,000 condoms, but told athletes to take them home rather than use them at the Olympic Village due to social distancing rules. And remember, we talked about some condom technology where they're making extremely micro thin condoms at a factory in Indonesia.
Yeah.
And
They made the most sensitive condoms available, and then they told them, "Don't use them." By the way,
Yeah, take it
don't use
home.
these condoms.
go do this at
Save
home.
these for later. Don't. Yeah,
Yeah, pretty crazy out there.
they seem to be of 2 minds.
But yeah, the as we know, the Olympic condoms, that's a huge thing. Every Olympics, they love to tell us about condoms, and here we are again giving you that update. And this has been a task that the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, has done since 1988 Seoul Olympics to raise awareness of HIV and AIDS. And Tokyo organizers said that the International Olympic Committee had requested their continued distribution. So, Dev, I know that you're very much on the side of these athletes taking the condoms home.
That's right.
Even in Beijing. Now this, I'm not talking about the Summer Olympics. John, you are adamantly on the side of that you're not allowed to take any home. They all have to be used
In the village.
in the
That's
village.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
right. I couldn't disagree more with John on this issue because, to me, it's extremely important that these athletes stay focused. They do their job. They do what they're there to do, which is to perform athletically and not sexually. And I don't even understand somebody who has a position like John.
I mean, this is just the stupidest kind of rhetoric you hear from these kinds of people who want, Olympic athletes to deny their natural God-given urge to procreate. Now, of course, they can't be having, reproductive sex in the Olympic Village the entire time.
No.
These are Ubermensch, okay? You can't tell a bird not to fly, and you can't tell, Yao Ming or whoever's going to be in the Olympics, he's aged up by now, not to have crazy, wild abandonment sex in the Olympic Village with some Swedish girl that he just met. Okay,
Right.
because these people are above us. Okay, and you got to give them the condoms to keep them safe, but you can't tell them what to do. And it's better that it happens in the Olympic Village. Okay, just imagine the destruction that could happen if these people were told to procreate outside of the Olympic Village.
Wow.
I take a moral stand on this issue. It's a moral issue, but in addition to that, it's a performance issue because we have seen over the course of the Olympics, we have seen that in the 1964 games, I think it was.
Where were those, Devin? Can you remind us where those were?
Off the top of my head, but I do know that that there was a study performed where when the athletes were permitted to procreate, they were permitted to use their condoms, performance dropped like a rock. And we saw no records being broken.
Classic mollycoddling. Let's give them all participation trophies. Okay. You want to test these athletes' mettle? You want to really see what they're made of? Have them have a marathon bang sesh right before a 1,500 meter dash and see who wins.
Now, John, are you saying that they shouldn't give out medals anymore?
That's correct. I believe that the condoms are enough.
Okay. Well, I'm sold. John wins. Thank you very much, Devin, for that, stance that you took. But
Thank you.
It was rather weak compared to
strong
John's. I mean, because John was louder and angrier than.
I will do better. I will do better next time, Ron.
I had a stronger, more erect argument.
And you also said that the Olympics happened on the top of your head.
They do. Yes, sometimes they do. When I'm in a delirious state, anything can happen, Ron.
Well, thank you very much, Devin. I really appreciate that report. John, great job.
Thank you. Good to be here again. Winner 2 weeks in a row.
Didn't say that, John.
All right.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for listening to Global Examiner this week. We've really gone all over the globe, and we encourage you to listen more. In fact, we'll have another episode in the coming weeks, and we encourage you to share that one with your friends. It's been a lot of fun talking with you and into the microphone with my colleagues, Devin Welsh.
Thank you.
And John Biedron.
My pleasure.
All right, everybody. This is Global Examiner, and this is your world. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.